and welcome to another cast here for the Perceptive podcast series on game wisdom. For tonight, we're going to be talking about the role of influencers and how things have really changed in terms of marketing and reaching out to them when it comes to game development. My guest tonight is the influencer marketing team lead for Famester, and she is on to discuss kind of her role and what it means to kind of have influencers cover your game. So, please welcome Katarina, who, just because her name wouldn't fit completely in my overlay, I have her as Kate. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty fine. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast. I'm really excited to talk about influencer marketing. That's what actually I do every single day. So yeah, I can wait to dive deep into the questions, etc. Thank you.
All right. All right, it is a pleasure to meet you, and this should be a very interesting chat. For yourself and for anyone on your side watching, like my audience includes a lot of developers, first-time students, that kind of thing. So this is something that for them can either be something they're either well acquainted with or they have no idea what any of this means in terms of marketing. So to get things started with, for yourself, like what is like your role, or can you explain to people like what do you do at Famester?
Yeah, at Finesters, we connect brands, we connect games, we connect studios, publishers all over the world with influencers. So it means that we are trying to, we're helping brands to spread the word about their games, and not only games, because my team specifically, we work with games, PC, mobile, console games, many different apps, also software services, um, VPNs, browsers, anything you can imagine. So we connect them with influencers. It means that we are managing the full cycle campaigns with them. So we make influencers promote many different brands. We're talking about games today, so games as well. I'm pretty sure you saw those ads on YouTube. Maybe you saw some sponsored Twitch streams. Maybe you saw some TikToks, reels about games. So this is basically what we do here at Famesters. And we can maybe mention some examples. For example, what I can mention is that we've worked with MLBB, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang. We also worked with Chill-based studio. They are producing one state, also mobile game, but kind of open, like GTA, open world, but on mobile. So something like this, and I can talk about it a lot. I think we should dive into some specific questions, maybe. What do you know? What do you want to know?
All right. So, for Famesters, do you work predominantly in mobile? Do you do any kind of like a PC or console promotions?
We do work with PC games and console games, but unfortunately, I cannot share specific names with you. But I can say that those are quite huge labels that you've probably heard of them not only once. You probably saw their ads on YouTube, on Twitch. But yeah, we cover them all.
I guess like the first question then, from
Yeah.
like your perspective and with Famesters, is this a case of like, and again, you don't have to go into anything like NDA breaking, of course. Do you, or does like your company like reach out to like major studios? Do they come to you in terms of looking for influencers? I guess like how's the ball get rolling in this respect?
It works from both sides. We have some inbound requests, so studios and publishers they come to us. They ask our advice. They also ask what we could do, what we could offer them. We're trying to make up a strategy for them. How could we promote their game through influencers? And if they do need influencers at all, because sometimes like maybe small games or Though although those hyper casual games, they don't need influencer marketing at all. So first of all, we're trying to understand if they do need our service, and if yes, what we could do to make them achieve their goals. So this is how that works. And of course, we also reach out to those big studios if we have some ideas, if we have some vision. We also meet those people across gaming conferences. So recently I were attending Digital Dragons in Poland. Maybe you've heard of them. This is quite a big conference, and I met a lot of gaming folks in the studios as well. So that was pretty nice. So it's all over about the community for me.
For like developers like listening, as you said a minute ago, in terms of whether or not influencer marketing would work best for them. I guess if you go a little bit more detail about that, like as someone who does a lot of brand work, a lot of marketing work, when do you see is a good time or a good game to do influencer marketing, and when do you think it won't be as effective?
Yeah. First of all, let me be honest. Influencer marketing is quite an expensive thing to do, and it's definitely not the first marketing channel you would approach. So, for example, if you have a game which is, for example, available on Steam to save to wish lists, or maybe you have only a demo. This is the stage of the game where you can try influencer marketing itself. For example, you could reach out to influencers who who's playing your genre of the game and try to give them keys. Maybe they would love to play the game, they would explore it and would find it really interesting. So they would make even the video for free. But first of all, of course, if we are talking about those big names, big influencers, it's quite a big business, and nobody will gonna do it for free. But if we are talking about truly gaming enthusiasts, I'm pretty sure there would be people who would love to explore, for example, indie games and just make the promo for free, for example. So if we're talking about from the very beginning, if we're talking about who specifically need influencer marketing campaigns, I'd say those are first of all PC games. Of course, games who have a budget for that, who could make a test, who could analyze it well, and then scale. Because it works really well when we are talking about a bunch of influencers, not only one single integration or one single dedicated video, for example. So yeah, it also really depends.
When it comes to guys like what the influencer is going to be doing or like part of the campaign, is it like mostly going to be like streaming videos, or does it depend on like the campaign and game itself?
It always depends. For example, for PC console games, I'd say that YouTube dedicated videos are really performing well. So, for example, it's a kind of an overview where the creator should play for a while for this game, also show the game itself, the gameplay, tell and share his or her opinion, and adds a clear call to action, like to download or like buy this game or something. It covers the whole structure and covers all the aspects of the game. Also, Twitch streams, those are very popular formats for PC and console games. You can always make a clip and highlight and cross-post it to YouTube, to TikTok, to Instagram Reel, etc., etc. Could be various. It's really great for kind of discovery, social proof, real life experience, so it covers it all. For mobile gaming, I'd say that TikTok covers it's really perfectly good. It could be a short vertical clip for around 60 seconds, sometimes even longer. Um, and also for mobile gaming, I'd recommend to try to explore YouTube and Twitch as well. Surprisingly, but there are lots of streamers that stream mobile games, and it could be also a case. And for those not classic mobile games, like I mentioned, One State, um, we saw that dedicated YouTube videos work really well for them, especially when we tried to cover Taiwan, countries like US, UK, also Germany. We started with the integrations, then test dedicated videos, and we really saw that they are performing really, really well in terms of downloads. And then of course, we scaled something that really works for them. So this is how it works in general.
With, I guess, like the different kinds of games that are out there, I think this is one of the questions that I was really interested in like talking to you about, because I've seen, like, from the developer side, a lot of horror stories about having like the wrong game be in front of an influencer. Like, if we're talking about a grand strategy game or a very like slow methodical game, that can oftentimes be a death nail in terms of like having an influencer play them, especially if they're not one that is like known to play, a game like an XCOM or Paradox Interactive style title. So, like, with like Famesters, and as you're like reaching out to influencers and game wise, I guess like the first part of this question is, what kind of games do you see, I guess, like work the best in terms of having an influencer cover them?
You mean the genres or something
Yes.
like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah. I'd say that classic RPG, MMORPG, even Japanese RPG, they work really well in terms of influencer marketing. Battle Royale games, of course. I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of PUBG, for example,
Mm-hmm.
ads or something like that. Um, maybe I'd say racing games.
Mm-hmm.
They also could be case. Mobile games, gacha games, of course. It's a pretty big market nowadays, and lots of games are promoted on YouTube, on Twitch. You can see them everywhere, probably. Um, Even simulator games, like flight simulator, anything. So I'd say pretty much anything could be used in influencer marketing campaigns. It always depends on your goals. Rather, your goals are to cover brand awareness or to grow sales, to make people add your game to wish list. Maybe it's just a big PR campaign. For example, you have a game all about gardening or something, or maybe women, why not? And you make a big PR campaign where you bring female influencers to grow trees in some forests. It is all about PR, but not about sales or something. But it could be also useful. So there is no game that couldn't work with the influencer marketing if you are being creative enough. But when it comes to classic campaigns, of course, those are the genres I mentioned above, I guess. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And also, regarding the horror stories you mentioned, the market itself struggles a lot with influencers. That's why we have, as an agency, we have our job, probably, because you need to analyze influencers really, really well. First of all, let's let's start with a kind of quick checklist before moving forward. What you should know, what you should do before moving to influencers and contacting them. First of all, try to match the game with the right audience. People should understand what kind of people will play in those games. What are their
Mm-hmm.
sex? What are their age? What are their preferences? What other games they play in? Maybe they play not only your genre of the game, but other genres as well. Because who knows? And I guess each and every company should make those customers interviews where they dive deep, they analyze who are their gamers, who are their users, what are they thinking about, what do they like, do they don't like about the game or about games in general, any kind of. Then once you understand your target audience pretty well, the most easiest way to go and search for influencers is to search creators who cover similar games like yours, like your competitors, for the past 3 months, something like that. Also, you can always try to think outside the box. Maybe people who play your game, as I mentioned earlier, also play statistically other genres. For example, for our MLBB campaign, we took, of course, main competitors of the game, but also we tried to target audience who loves such games as Brawl Stars, Dota 2, League of Legends, even Counter-Strike, PUBG, Minecraft, Roblox, because the portrait of the target audience of the people who we're targeting is pretty much the same. So why not exploring them as well, especially if you're building a big influencer marketing campaign. Right after that, for example, you know who your audience is, you know who your players is, you found some pretty much good influencers, you're ready to reach out to them. What you should do next is analyze the audience. For example, you're targeting, for example, Taiwan countries, US, UK. You should definitely analyze the statistics of the channel. For example, with Twitch, you can use open sources. With YouTubers and TikTokers, you can ask influencers to share their statistics screenshots. Check their top countries. Check the language of their audience. Check everything you could, comments, engagement rate, everything, to understand that this is a high quality influencer and it would bring you results, really real results. What else should we have? Then, of course, you should be a good negotiator. You should give maybe some assets of your game, some maybe logotypes or something, even gameplays pre-recorded. Why not? The best that you could show about the game, it's better to give that to influencers. Then, of course, make a pilot integration, and then track results and double down on winners. And that's how that works. If we're talking about like very quickly.
And with like as preparing like from the developer side to like reach out or contact either like your company or contact influencers directly, is there a good or preferred pitch in terms of like what they should be like sending out to get someone interested in checking out the game?
Imagine influencers, they receive tons of emails per day. So your first outreach and email or message should really catch the attention. First of all, try to express that you are truly interested in working with influencer. Also, try to give some perks. Maybe you have a keys to share. Maybe you have a demo version that is available only privately. So this or that influencer would have a possibility to share something that is not public yet. This is quite interesting material for any influencer all over the world. And of course, the outreach message should be very clear, stated that you need this and that. The timeline is something like that. The format, the preferred format is exactly like you want to make it happen. And just be a kind soul that is open, because nowadays everyone uses ChatGPT. Those tons of corporate emails that we are all trying to avoid. Just be a person who is truly interested, and you'll see same in return.
I guess like in the negotiating stage, we talked about kind of again like the expense of getting an
Yeah.
influencer and that kind of campaign. And again, without getting into specifics, for a developer, is there like a rough average in terms of like how much like getting an influencer to play their game could cost or run?
Regarding the costs, let's say specifically, it always depends on the category of influencer. Also depends on the geo we're targeting. For example, if we are talking about Tier 1 countries, because each and every company wants to target this region. For YouTube dedicated videos, CPM, cost per mile views, this is the main metric we're analyzing, would be in the mid-teens to 40s dollars per 1,000 views. For Twitch, the price for 1 hour stream would cost us around $1-2 CPV. It means like cost per view, per one view. You can always open something like stream charts and analyze their concurrent views. And for TikTok is much better and much cheaper. It would cost around $15-20 per 1,000 views, also CPM. Those are raw numbers. It always depends. But yeah, those are the metrics we can really rely on.
With I guess like the actual like setup or the actual content or campaign. You mentioned a few minutes ago, like we're talking about like a farming or like a grow gardening style game. We have a bunch of or a bunch of people just playing trees and stuff like that. If we're talking about like more action based games, and of course you mentioned a lot of mobile games, racing games, shooters, that kind of thing. What do you see like typically works like best in terms of an influencer playing these? Because as another point, like from my perspective and when I talk to a lot of developers, we've seen people who cover games go, okay, here's someone just like randomly shooting at stuff for 10 minutes. Like, they're not even, there's no attempt at winning. It's just, here's me running around shooting a gun. You can also have someone go like esports, I'm going to try and play this ultra competitively. I'm going to try and be the best one on my team, that kind of thing. So, in that respect, like, when we talk about kind of like more action or more competitive based genres, what do you see like works best in terms of like, I guess like the influencer side of playing these games?
I'd say before moving to launching this campaign with the influencer, someone from the studio or publisher should definitely prepare a very detailed brief, explaining this and that, explaining what is the game about, what is the main idea. Try to include your values, so the influencer would share those values with his audience. Also, to make it happen in the best way possible, try to prepare some brand assets for influencer. Maybe, as I mentioned earlier, some pre-recorded gameplays which shows your game in the best possible way with some mega action scenes, maybe some funny examples of how you could entertain inside the game. Also, give the keys of your in-game. Try to make the influencer play the game before filming the video, because what I see, I guess this is the biggest mistake, is when the influencer, for example, they record a dedicated video and we see that the influencer plays level 1 or something like that. So he's just started and not enjoyed the game itself. So we won't believe him. So try to avoid those situations and please ask influencer to play the game actually. And maybe you can help them. Maybe you can help them with your in-game money or something, skins. Help them enjoy the game in the shortest way possible. So he will show your game from the best perspective. Also, the very important thing that people usually forget about is the call to action. A clear call to action is a key to success of the campaign. The links, try to measure the campaign, make a UTM links, make promo codes, give players some special perks, give them maybe some special heroes in your game, or anything that would make their experience much more special. So this is the key, I guess. And the honest review, of course, the honest review. The influencer should really, truly enjoy the game, because this is the key.
And that, I think, last one is very important because, again, like, it gets back to kind of like mismatching an influencer to a game. Like, if you're making like a super scary survival horror game, putting in front of someone who only plays like cute games or cozy games is probably not going to be the best fit.
True.
And
that is true, yeah.
And I guess like to bring this back to kind of your role at Famesters, then I guess like from like where like what you do and what Famesters do you do any like advisements in terms of like developers or companies in terms of, okay, how this is not the best way to show your game, or maybe this is not the best influencer, like maybe you should try and do it like this?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes we see that people are coming. Let's imagine this is the truth. The horror games PC game comes to us and tells like, "Oh, we saw a lot of maybe some cute games that we could make fun of them and promote our game with those cute influences." Of course, we would advise them not to do it. As I mentioned earlier, if we see that the game comes to us and they're not ready to start with influencers, we won't do that, because we're not interested in this kind of service. We are trying to make it really, really well from outside. So we always try to analyze the game. We can make a research on the competitors, what they do. We could also make an analysis of the game itself. We always ask for the keys for ourselves, just to play the game, to enjoy it, to understand how to promote it. What is the best possible way to promote it? For example, my team, they all play many different games. So my goal is to accumulate those managers who are really truly enthusiasts about the game. I'm a business girl who make it happen in the best possible way from the business side of things. So yeah, of course, this is very, very important. And we always try to bring best ideas to our clients. But of course, we also listen to our customers. We listen to the brands that come to us, because who knows the game better than people who produced it, actually, right?
Get like eyes on a game. That, I think, is the other aspect. Like from a developer standpoint, that is always one of the hardest parts about this. And with, I guess, like with Famesters and like with like what you do with reaching out to influencers, if a developer comes in, let's say I have this kind of game, and they say we want to do an influencer campaign, do you do like a canvassing and say, okay, to all the influencers that we work with, we have so and so. Would anyone be interested in covering this game for, a stream, a video, etc.? I guess, how does that particular side work?
First of all, I think I should mention that we are not only a talent agency who manage influencers, but we're also service providers, let's say. We always do our campaigns very, very customly. So it means that we are not given any pre-made media plans and list of influencers to choose from. We always search from zero. We are trying to search influencers that would match the game perfectly well. We reach out to them. We negotiate pricing. We negotiate any specific deliverables that we need from them. And only after that, after the whole preparation analysis of influencers, we're checking the fraud activity, we're checking everything we could. We make the best possible list we could. And only then we show it to our customers, let's say game representative, and they are free to choose those influencers they would like to proceed with or not. So this is how it works in general.
With kind of getting people to, I guess, this is one of those questions I think is very tricky to go for. With trying to get eyes on these kinds of games, or kind of the influencer side, we've talked about, again, streams, videos, that kind of thing. Are there any particular, I guess, campaigns that you think are better or worse for certain kinds of games? And what I mean by that is having a stream of a game versus a recording versus maybe even just a 20 to 30-second advert, that kind of thing.
Since influencer marketing is quite a big market, it's been, I guess, 10 and more years for influencer marketing in general. We have 8 years experience in influencer marketing. It's a big business, So there are a few formats that historically works. Those are the formats that I mentioned to you during our chat. But sometimes it happens that brands want to make a kind of a custom campaign, and it requires extra job to manage it all. But of course, something that works historically, let's say the game comes to us and they say, oh, I want the streamer to play the game 10 hours in a row. Something like that. Something that this never happens usually, right? And they truly think that this is a nice idea and could be very viral, for example. But here we are. We will explain that, first of all, it would cost some extra money. Secondly, it's better to go the way that we definitely know it would work. Because historically, for this and that company, we can mention some examples, it works perfectly well. So why should we experiment if we could go the way it works for many different games? Because in the end, everything we could do is to bring results. We're an agency that is interested in building trust and growing businesses, but not destroying it. So that's the idea.
Yeah, I mean, again, it would be great if you could get a 24-hour campaign or 24-hour stream for your game, but yeah, it's definitely not going to be in the cards for a lot of developers or for a lot of influencers. And I guess that's, I think, a good springboard for this next question, because this is something that I was curious about. In terms of how influencer marketing has grown over the years, you said that FameSource has been doing this for about 8 years. And for a lot of the people that I speak to, or a lot of developers, I've been talking to developers since the 2012s or early 2010s. When we look at kind of the rise of YouTube, Twitch, and so on, it has certainly begun, or it has come a very long way since 2005 to, again, even 2015 to where it is today. And I just wanted to get like your thoughts on what how has like the role of influencers like changed, like from like your company's perspective, from like managing them, and kind of where they are at now today.
Yeah, I'd say that, um, it's been a long time since Twitch was something like Justin TV, as far as I remember. It was called like that. So, yeah, it's been a while, and I guess influencers, they're becoming a new newsletters, a new TV, a new way of entertainment. They compete with books, with films, with Netflix, with everything, pretty much everything, as well as games, by the way. So um, I think that we've done really, really far. And I guess nowadays, influencer marketing works perfectly well because, you know, lots of ads we see every day, every single day. We have even that banner blindness, and something that would catch our attention is when we, mm, I don't know, watch the YouTuber that we trust, the opinion whose we trust, and he would recommend something truly, and we believe him. This is what works nowadays. So it's a kind of advice from your friend, but from your digital friend, right?
Mhm.
So that's why it works. That's why it would work. It would definitely work in the future. This is what I believe in. That's why I also do this for 5 or 6 years now. Um, so yeah, that's why it works. That's how it works.
And with like how like the influencer siding has really like changed, at least from like where I've been sitting, we've seen a lot, and especially in the last like 5 to 6 years, kind of these I guess like just say these like out of nowhere hits from the likes of Vampire Survivors, Among Us, Balatro, and it seems like almost like every few months now, we have a game kind of get like that moment in the spotlight. That all of a sudden, like every influencer, every streamer, YouTuber will cover and play it. And obviously there is no secret formula to get your game that big, because if there was we would be seeing a lot more of those. But I
Sure.
wanted to like ask, like from like Famester's perspective and like from your own perspective, when we have like these like blow up successes, how does that, or does that influence like what you're doing, how you're reaching out to developers or influencers? Like, I guess like another way of putting it, like when Balatro blew up last year, we saw just this cascading effect of gambling likes and gambling adjacent games. Like the one that, of course, another one that blew up would be like Buckshot Roulette. That all of a sudden everyone was playing that. So when we see like a game kind of strike while the fire is, or strike while the iron is hot, what does that mean? Or like, does it like raise like an alarm in terms of getting more people to cover this game or looking for games similar to it?
It's a big secret for me, as you mentioned, that if we know that's key to success, I guess we would probably see a lot of those titles nowadays. But to be completely honest with you, it's quite hard to answer this question. And I guess, I believe in measurable results. I believe in marketing and what we could do about it. Uh, there are plenty of marketing channels like organic marketing, user acquisition marketing, maybe PR, brand, influencers, pretty much everything. And sometimes all these cocktails of those activities, if you do something, then something will definitely work out, as those mentions and the few touches of the users with your game. So This is a real secret for me, how that works in terms of viral games and viral cases. But all we can do is something that already works, and you can always experiment with the something you believe in.
From like where I've been seeing like talking to a lot of developers, like you can't really like force a game to kind of blow up like this. Because as we've said, when Among Us blew up, we saw like dozens, if not hundreds, of social deduction games all trying to be the next one. The same thing with Fall Guys, with Vampire Survivors, and we can pick any one of those games. And from like, I guess this is an interesting question for you. Like, as another thing, like I've interviewed like PR develop or PR people, PR firms who specifically go with the idea of publicizing game, not so much the influencer side. And one of the things that we've talked a lot about in that respect is having a unique and original game. Something that you can say is different from all the other games out there. And what I wanted to ask you, in terms of like reaching out to influencers or doing influencer style campaigns, when we see like 10, 20 different games that are all trying to be the same thing or trying to copy the big name game, does that help or hurt from an influencer perspective? And for developers watching, it's the reason why I'm trying to make this distinction is that when we talk about PR side, originality is of course going to be very important. You can't, go to a publisher and say, my game is just like 50 other games, give us a contract. But from an influencer's perspective, what we've seen, I think, develop really predominantly over the last 10 years has been kind of specialty influencers. There are people who only play Vampire Survivor Lakes. There are people who only play Stardew or, farming sim lakes. So for someone like them, if they see a game that they, know that genre inside out, they are care less if it's, Stardew Valley, but I don't know, it's lizard people instead of humans. So so I guess to bring us back to the question, like when we see developers like trying to again copy a big name game or try and get into a major genre that's already very heavily flooded, does that help or hurt from like an influencer side?
Marketing always works, but uh, I can answer it quite quickly because I guess if you try to cover that awareness and you can catch up with their success, with the success of those hits, but you can never beat them or become a next hit. So all you could do is to get your piece of cake from this big cake, but not win it at all, unfortunately or fortunately.
With again like trying to like get some name out there, get some kind of a footprint out there. That thing has been the other aspect or the role that influencers have helped with. Again, like we can talk going even as far back as something like Five Nights at Freddy's. As everyone knows, Markiplier was kind of like the first big name influencer to cover that game, and it just kind of like snowballed from there. And from kind of Famester's point of view, or just like influencer marketing in general, are there any, I guess, like tells or things that you've noticed that kind of can lead to the snowballing effect? Because again, as we said, there is no perfect formula to, influencer and game that's going to make it a multi-million-dollar success. But are there any like trends or commonalities that you've noticed or that you've like seen these games kind of like pick up steam with?
If to mention some games that influencer marketing helped them with, I bet we would not hear lots of things about Genshin Impact, for example, if influencers won't promote it so badly and so much. What I always see on YouTube, you will laugh, but everyone knows Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah, maybe that's not the best possible way to make the game, but you definitely heard of it only because of influencers, only because of YouTubers, TikTokers, everyone talks about only because of influencers, right? This is not the best hit, I don't know, that everyone is talking about, but still, influencer marketing helps to bring it back every single time. Also, maybe if we're talking about gacha games, I'd say that Infinity Nikki, what Infinity influencers campaigns, they were pretty much successful because they do it all the time. I guess maybe each month they launch campaigns with influencers. So something like that. You'll always, I think, will see those kind of games on YouTube because it really helps them to promote it.
And mentioning like the mobile and gacha marketing, that I think takes me to another very interesting question I want to ask you about. Another big change I think we've seen with like influencers and marketing over the past decade has been kind of more that blurring of the line between kind of like Eastern and Western game development. That again, like 15, 20 years ago, most people were not thinking about gacha games. Stuff like Reverse 99, Arc Knights, Limbus, you name all the major gachas. Over like last like 7 to 8 years, we've seen a lot more of that push to the West with more influencers and more YouTubers and streamers playing these games and covering it. And what I want to ask you is, like throughout this cast, you of course mentioned like how certain games can fare better in different territories and different countries. Has that changed a lot over like the last 5 to 6 years, like from your own perspective with working with brands and influencers in terms of what games are they excited to cover, even if it's not from their country of origin?
Statistically, I see that Asian culture in general, they hype for the past years a lot, not only with games, but also with cosplay, with the culture itself, with anime,
Mhm.
with even music, K-pop artists. They are everywhere across the world. So Asian market is quite open to Western market for now. And I guess it would influence the gaming market in general because they bring some new vision to this market and they bring new styled games and maybe even, I don't know, it's always something new, something cool about it because you can mix it all with your ideas. So why not? And I guess this is the big hype, and I believe that we will see even bigger hype in the future within those gacha games and other um, Asian culture things.
As you mentioned a few minutes ago with the mobile space and how much of that has really grown and changed, from like an influencer or from a marketing perspective, are there any like new or I guess like popular trends in terms of like mobile games or other like of course you mentioned Infinite Nikki or other like mobile games that have like really become popular when it comes to like influencer campaigns?
Yes, for sure. I think that this is quite a good time for mobile games because we're seeing that it's quite easy to produce them nowadays, but still there are not so many big, cool names with great quality of the game, right? So you nowadays you can use AI and build, let's say, hyper casual game really fast, but I don't think it would work for the future. Oh well, but some other games, like I mentioned, the One States and Mobile Legends Bang Bang, kind of, let's say, not so simple games. They would definitely hype a lot in the in the future in the nowadays. So this is something I believe in. But you know, I think that those are completely different target audience, those who play PC games and those who play mobile games. And I don't think that people who truly enjoy PC games would ever switch to mobile games. Maybe while they're, I don't know, have a break at work, um, let's say driving metro or something. Maybe they will play just something like super light. But I think those are two completely different audience, first of all. So everyone would stay in their niche.
Yeah, and I think with that, I am just about out of questions. So before I kind of go into like our final like as wrap up for the cast, anything else regarding your role, influencer marketing, anything in that respect that we didn't touch on that you would like to bring up?
I really hope we covered this all, but yeah, thank you so much again for inviting me to your podcast. I'm really excited. To be completely honest, this is my first time ever I attend the podcast, so I'm a bit nervous. All I want to say is that don't be afraid. Try influencer marketing. It won't mm, disappoint you, I'm pretty sure. But just try to be creative and open-minded, and you will make it everything really, really well. Thank you so much.
Right. So, to wrap things up then for our chat, if people, I guess like if for developers listening to us right now, if they're like interested in reaching out to Famesters or like any other like influencer style campaign, is it like are there like delays? Like, is it best to get in touch, as early as possible when the game is done? I guess what is like a good time to like reach out if they're interested in doing a campaign like this?
Best timeline would be, for example, if this is the game that would be published very, very soon. Once you have a demo version, this is the right time to approach the agency like Famesters, and we can make the whole analysis. We can make a research. We can put up the strategy and present it to the brand. And also on the based on the type of the game, we will try to analyze what is the best time to launch the campaign. Should it be on the wishlist stage, or maybe should it be after the release? Who knows? It always depends, because we, as I mentioned earlier, we do things really, really customly. So please feel free to reach out at famesters.com or directly by contacting me or our team via LinkedIn, email. Anything would work.
Of if for like any kind of PR or social media side, anything you want to promote for yourself or Famesters, stuff like that, feel free.
I think that Famesters would be your best partners in terms of influencer marketing campaigns, because we have a great experience for about 8+ years now, and we've worked a lot with PC games, mobile games, console games, even gaming services. You can always check our website and check our case studies that are presented, or maybe if you have any questions, any specific questions regarding our experience, just please feel free to reach out.
And so I guess with that, any final thoughts, anything you would like to say about Famesters, about influencer marketing to take us out?
You should definitely try influencer marketing, because this is something that would definitely bring you great results and cover your brand awareness, grow sales, and just I think that this is the good thing to try. Definitely.
All right. Well, I think with that, we will wrap things up. Kate, it has been a pleasure chatting with you. And yeah, best of luck with more influencer campaigns that you'll be working with in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me once again. Thank you
All
for the
right.
chat.
Not a problem. So with that, we're going to say goodnight for this episode. From my own side, if you're enjoying things, be sure to do the YouTubing stuff, check out all the many books, my Discord, Patreon, all that greatness. If you are a developer, want to come on and chat about game design or any aspect of game dev, please get in touch as well. I'm always looking for guests for this series. You'll find links to everything Famesters related down below if you're interested in influencer marketing. And with that, come back for daily discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, where you examine the art and science of games. And our next chat, have a great night.